It was supposed to be a routine exchange during a high-profile committee hearing. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, known for her aggressive questioning style, set her sights on Senator JD Vance, hoping to land a decisive blow. Cameras were rolling, political tensions were high, and the room was filled with anticipation. Crockett came prepared, armed with documents and sound bites, but what happened next left even her most loyal supporters stunned. Vance didn't just hold his ground, he flipped the entire narrative in a matter of seconds. Crockett began confidently, listing a series of alleged inconsistencies in Vance's recent policy positions. She accused him of flip-flopping on key legislation and pressed him on comments he made in previous interviews. "Senator, do you stand by your words, or do they change depending on who's listening?" she asked sharply. The room got quiet. Vance smiled slightly, leaned forward and said, "Congresswoman, I stand by the truth, even when it's inconvenient for the narrative you're trying to sell." The crowd murmured. Crockett tried to interrupt, but Vance continued, pulling out his own stack of papers. "Since we're discussing inconsistencies, let's talk about yours," he said. He cited quotes from past committee sessions, highlighted contradictions in her voting record, and even referenced a recent interview where Crockett appeared to contradict herself on a major policy. The shift was immediate. What began as an interrogation turned into a defense, and Vance was now steering the conversation. Crockett's expression changed from confidence to frustration. She attempted to redirect the topic, but Vance calmly pushed forward. "The American people are tired of politicians who play gotcha games instead of working for real change," he said. "If you want to talk policy, I'm ready. If you want to talk theatrics, I'll leave that to you." The silence that followed was deafening. Even other members of the panel looked around uncomfortably, sensing the moment had turned. Desperate to regain control, Crockett fired back with accusations of Vance being out of touch and favoring corporate interests. But Vance countered swiftly, coming from someone who accepted campaign funds from the very corporations she now criticizes. That's rich. He then read out donor names and amounts tied to Crockett's campaign. Gasps were heard in the gallery. Crockett denied the allegations, but the momentum had clearly shifted, and it wasn't in her favor. Vance didn't stop there. He referenced specific bills he co-sponsored that directly benefited working-class Americans and contrasted them with Crockett's voting history. "I ran for office to serve people who feel forgotten," he said. "You, on the other hand, seem to serve whatever headlines boost your profile." The room buzzed with tension. Crockett tried to laugh it off, but her attempts at humor fell flat. The power dynamic had reversed entirely, and everyone could feel it. In a final attempt to gain ground, Crockett accused Vance of pandering to extremist elements within his base. But Vance responded, "I speak to the people who elected me, farmers, factory workers, families who can't afford groceries. If that makes me extreme, maybe it's time we redefine who Washington really serves." The room erupted in quiet. Applause from a few attendees. Crockett looked visibly stunned, clearly not expecting the exchange to turn so sharply against her. By the end of the session, it was clear. What was meant to be a political trap for JD Vance had become a showcase of his preparedness and composure. Crockett left the chamber quickly, avoiding reporters. Vance, on the other hand, stayed behind to answer questions from the press. His final statement summed it all up. "I came here to represent the truth. If that's uncomfortable for some, so be it." The clip was already going viral by the time he stepped outside. Social media exploded with reactions. Supporters praised Vance for standing his ground and turning the tables. Critics of Crockett called it an embarrassing miscalculation. Hashtags like "Dosus Vance Flipsite," "Shoes Crockett Cornered," and "Senate Showdown" trended for hours. Pundits debated the long-term impact of the exchange, with some saying it could redefine how political confrontations are handled on national platforms. In the end, the hearing was more than just a political spectacle. It was a powerful reminder that confidence must be backed by facts and that narratives can crumble when challenged by sharp, strategic thinking. JD Vance didn't just survive the ambush, he turned it into a defining moment, and for Jasmine Crockett, it was a lesson in underestimating a well-prepared opponent. In politics, as in chess, one wrong move can cost you the entire board.